Hello, everyone. This is Cactus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're diving into an exciting fanfiction, What If Goku Rewrote the Past? Part 2. Disclaimer, the content on this channel is purely for entertainment and discussion. I do not own any of the anime footage showcased here, all rights and credit go to the original creators and copyright holders. Alright, let's jump right into it. Seated alone in a floating chair, the Emperor radiated a daunting presence. His authority was unmatched. Some would wonder just how powerful he was, or what exactly he ruled over. The answer was stark: this emperor could obliterate entire planets with a mere flick of his finger. Commanding an army of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands, he was known by many names: the Emperor of the Universe, the Agent of Destruction, but most famously, he was called by his given name, Frieza. At that moment, the Emperor was tuned into the latest transmission from the scouters of a pair of Saiyan warriors. "It's been a while, but allow me to introduce you to the first Super Saiyan in a millennium," a voice announced. Frieza's interest was piqued. The speaker went by the names Goku or Kakarot. Frieza found Goku simpler to remember. Super Saiyan or not, he was confident this so-called legend would soon beg for mercy. "Hey Kakarot. You're a Super Saiyan. How?" A familiar voice, Raditz, stammered in disbelief. Frieza smirked, recalling Raditz's betrayal. As the Emperor of the Universe, Frieza had a reputation to uphold. Allowing even one Saiyan to rebel was intolerable. Raditz's treachery would earn him a fitting, painful end. "So? How about it?" Goku's voice continued confidently. "I could teach you how to reach this power too. Are you in?" Frieza knew Goku was masterfully manipulating his followers with the allure of greater power. To them, it must have seemed like an opportunity too tempting to ignore. "Alright, Kakarot, we're in. What's the plan?" Even Vegeta's voice hinted at defiance. But no matter how many monkeys sought freedom, they would all share the same fate: subjugation or death at Frieza's hands. "It's simple. We train," Goku replied, before the transmission abruptly ended. Frieza assumed one of the Scions had destroyed the scouter to prevent further eavesdropping. The notion that they believed training could save them amused him. They sought strength, but Frieza knew none in the universe could rival his power. With a casual press of a keypad integrated into his chair, Frieza summoned one of his loyal subordinates. Zarbon, a tall figure with blue skin, long green hair, and golden eyes, appeared promptly, kneeling. "Lord Frieza, how may I serve you?" Zarbon inquired. "Set a course for planet Earth, at full speed." "I'm in no mood to wait," Frieza ordered without looking back. Zarbon hesitated briefly. "If I may, Lord Frieza, why Earth?" Frieza chuckled darkly. "We're going to deal with some insolent Scions. Inform Dodoria to be ready." "As you wish, Lord Frieza," Zarbon replied, swiftly heading off to carry out the command. Frieza's smirk lingered as he stared into space. This would be entertaining. Back on Earth, Vegeta crushed both scouters, fully aware that Frieza had heard their exchange. "It took Nappa and me a year to get here from a nearby outpost. Frieza's technology far surpasses ours. He'll arrive within 4 months, Vegeta noted. Crossing his arms, he asked Goku, "How exactly do you plan to train us, Kakarot?" Goku grinned. "The training will be intense. Are you sure you can handle it?" Vegeta and the other Scions shared a confident smirk. "You ask if we can handle it? If a low-class warrior like you achieves Super Saiyan, then we'll surpass you with ease," Nappa boasted, seeking Vegeta's approval. Vegeta scoffed dismissively. "I can't speak for you or the others, but I'll reach Super Saiyan. Just don't distract me." The remark sparked anger in Nappa, who lunged at Vegeta only to be subdued instantly. "Remember, Nappa, I'm the prince. You're only here to witness my ascension. Then, and only then, will I let you meet your end," Vegeta declared coldly, leaving Nappa gasping. Goku shook his head, sensing the tension between them. He realized that converting Vegeta would be challenging. Raditz seemed more open to change, while Nappa's loyalty to Vegeta was unwavering. If he couldn't unite them, Frieza's threat would be nearly insurmountable. "Alright, Vegeta, let's not escalate this further. You'll need each other to stand a chance against Frieza," Goku advised. "We'll train separately," Tien interjected, casting a wary glance at the new arrivals. "Frieza sounds like a serious threat. It's better we prepare on our own." Vegeta sneered. "If you can't stand us, you won't survive against Frieza. If we're unbearable, then multiply that ruthlessness by 100. The taunt unsettled Tien, who almost responded, but restrained himself. "Fine. We'll join you. And when this is over, I'll make sure you eat those words." Vegeta's laughter was mocking. I look forward to it. As the Scions prepared, Yamcha approached Goku with a question. Where do we train? Goku's smile was resolute. The battle against Frieza loomed, and their only hope lay in intense preparation. Later, I plan to consult Bulma about obtaining the schematics for a gravity room. My objective is to establish a base of operations where we can all reside, ensuring no one strays too far in case of an emergency. I'll handle the expenses since the facility will be renovated under my name, though I'm not expecting to carry the financial load alone. Some of you could enter a martial arts tournament to earn funds, or perhaps we could utilize the Dragon Balls. Additionally, we'll rotate responsibilities like maintaining the facility and managing the training area. For now, let's go our separate ways until everything is prepared, Goku concluded, receiving nods of agreement from the Earthlings as they departed. Goku then turned to Gohan, giving him a gentle pat on the head with a proud smile. You did well today, Gohan. You've grown so much, especially for someone so young. I'm truly proud of you. Gohan smiled, blushing slightly at the compliment, feeling a warmth from his father's praise. Goku then looked over at Piccolo, smirking. So, who won the match? I overheard the entire fight, Goku teased, and Piccolo chuckled. Who else? Like I mentioned, I'd rather face defeat than lose to those weaklings. They all owe me now, and someday they'll have to make good on those debts. Piccolo responded, a hint of satisfaction in his voice. Meanwhile, Vegeta grew impatient. Alright, Kakarot, enough pointless chatter. Let's locate this so-called base of operations of yours. We don't have all day, he insisted, prompting a sigh from Goku. Vegeta, if you keep this up, I might reconsider helping you achieve Super Saiyan. Without my guidance, you won't have an efficient training space or access to my specially designed key absorbent weights. Patience, we still have 4 months, more than enough time to train and unlock the transformation. Vegeta silenced himself, while Raditz and Piccolo chuckled. Vegeta shot them a glare but held his tongue. Actually, I know a perfect location for our base, Goku continued. It's scenic, secluded, and I have a good friend nearby. Besides, I'll be doing most of the work. He took off into the air, his aura visible as his companions followed. They landed on a small island with a pink house surrounded by sand and 2 trees. As they approached, the door opened, and a woman with blue hair streaked with blonde appeared, brandishing 2 submachine guns and firing at them. Gohan dodged, clearly startled, while the others nonchalantly caught the bullets. Vegeta dropped the bullets, growling, how absurd. Launch looked at the group, eyes wide. Goku, we need to talk, she said in a stern tone that made Goku gulp. He chuckled awkwardly and followed her. Once in private, she grabbed him by the shirt and pushed him against the wall. What are you thinking, Goku? Bringing them here like this. I might tolerate Gohan, Raditz, and Piccolo, but 2 more Scions? Are you out of your mind? She demanded, shoving him as much as she could. Goku only smiled, which threw her off. She suspected he had a plan in mind. Relax, Launch. I'm here to keep an eye on them. As long as I'm around, they won't harm you or anyone else. I've placed an energy beacon on Vegeta and Nappa so I can monitor their actions in real time. And as for Piccolo, he's changed. Training Gohan has softened him, though he'd never admit it. Vegeta and Nappa just need time, but I assure you, they'll come around. Trust me on this, okay? Goku said, gently grasping her gloved hand to calm her. She reluctantly softened, realizing she did trust him, even if she wasn't thrilled about it. You've changed, Goku. I didn't expect you to be so strategic, she observed, catching him by surprise. Goku laughed. Life does that to people. And you've changed too, you didn't even use a shotgun this time, he teased, causing her to blush. She looked away, flustered, wondering what had come over him. So, I brought everyone here to ask for permission to build our base on this island. It'll be a place where the Z-fighters can train and live without unnecessary travel, and we'll have our privacy, Goku explained. Launch shrugged. It's not my island, talk to Roshi. He's probably watching workout videos, the pervert, she muttered with a frown. Goku laughed. It's funny how the wisest and strongest people often have the strangest quirks, he commented, making her laugh in agreement. True. And you're not without quirks yourself, she teased, causing Goku to feign offense. I thought we were friends. Words hurt, you know, he said, clutching his chest dramatically. Launch patted his shoulder, grinning. You're tough. You can handle a few jokes, she quipped as Goku grinned, leading her back outside. Meanwhile, the others waited awkwardly on the sand, not making eye contact. After a few moments of silence, Piccolo glanced around, noticing Raditz coughing, Nappa sneezing with obvious disgust, and Gohan nearly picking his nose, which Piccolo quickly prevented. This is getting ridiculous. What's taking Goku so long? Piccolo thought, growing tense as the silence dragged on. Inside, Goku approached Roshi to discuss the island expansion for their base. Master Roshi chuckled as he watched his favorite yoga program on TV. Ah, this one's called the Downward Dog. His laughter filled the house as Goku watched with a small smile. It was amusing to see Roshi so entertained, though Goku wondered if Roshi got lonely sometimes without family around. So, Master Roshi, Goku began, would it be alright if I expanded this island a bit to make a base for everyone? Roshi turned away from the TV and nodded. Of course, Goku. Just keep an eye on those Saiyan visitors. From what you've told me, they're very powerful, so make sure you know what you're doing. Goku gave a grateful nod and headed outside, with Launch walking by his side. As he reached the others, Goku noticed an awkward silence had fallen over the group. Smiling at Gohan, he ruffled his son's hair. Alright, everyone. Let's make some space for all of you. Gohan, I'll take you home once I finish, alright? Gohan nodded, staying close to his dad. Goku stepped back, focused his energy, and stretched out his hand, creating more space on the island with a soft blue glow. He expanded the land and added some new trees and plants to make it lively. Next, he crafted a large building, designed like a luxury hotel with 11 floors, each floor featuring 6 spacious rooms furnished with comfortable, welcoming decor. The top floor was set aside as the family suite, giving the best view of the whole island. He planned for this hotel to be temporary since he wanted to build individual homes for each person on the island someday. For now, though, this would give everyone a comfortable place to stay. Once he finished, Goku created a hovering blue orb of energy to help him make more changes as needed. He glanced back at the group, amused to see their reactions. Many were in awe, though Vegeta simply crossed his arms, pretending to be unimpressed. Alright, everyone, Goku said, gesturing to the hotel. There are 11 floors, with 6 rooms on each. Feel free to pick a room and settle in. The top floor is reserved for my family, but the rest is open. The group made their way inside, some admiring the place while others were quietly excited. Humph, not bad, Vegeta said as he walked in. Goku simply smiled, shaking his head. Then he looked down at Gohan, who was beaming with pride. Ready to go home, son? Goku asked. Gohan nodded eagerly. He was tired from the long, eventful day and looked forward to resting. Goku placed his hand on Gohan's shoulder, and together they teleported back to their home. Arriving at the house, Gohan's face lit up with joy as he rushed inside to see Chi-Chi, who hugged him warmly. Goku watched them with a happy heart, feeling grateful for moments like these. There's no place like home, he thought to himself, and he quietly promised to always make time for his family. Goku walked up to Chi-Chi with a smile. Hey, beautiful. It's so good to be home. She blushed and welcomed him in. Dinner isn't quite ready yet, but why don't you and Gohan freshen up? You must be exhausted, she suggested warmly. That sounds perfect. Gohan, go ahead and clean up, Goku said, giving him a wink. Gohan grinned and hurried off. Chi-Chi looked at Goku with affection. He wrapped his arms around her in a warm embrace, and they shared a quiet moment together, happy to be home. Later, as Goku prepared to visit Bulma for a quick project, Chi-Chi gave him a curious look. It's just a quick visit, he assured her with a smile. I'm working on a training room, and Bulma has the blueprints I need. She nodded, a playful glint in her eyes. Alright, don't stay out too late. I'll be waiting, she said with a smile. Goku gave her a quick wave before teleporting off to his next task, already looking forward to being back with his family soon. Bulma let out a deep breath as she stepped out of the shower, feeling refreshed after a long, busy day. She had been working on different machine prototypes, and it seemed like there was always something new that needed her attention. After changing into her cozy Capsule Corp t-shirt and pajama shorts, she heard a noise behind her and turned to see her old friend, Goku, standing in her room. She jumped a little, surprised by his sudden appearance. Goku. You can't just pop up like that. Haven't you ever heard of knocking? She said, half laughing and half annoyed. Goku scratched his head, looking a bit embarrassed. Oh, sorry, Bulma. I just came over to ask if you had any plans for a gravity room. I want to try building one myself, he explained. Bulma rolled her eyes but smiled. You know, Goku, a phone call works too, she teased. But sure, I can help you out with the plans. Together, They headed to her lab, where she showed him the designs and explained a few key details. Goku listened closely, clearly interested in her work. Despite the surprise, Bulma was happy to catch up with him. Over the years, they'd been through so much together. As they finished looking over the plans, she playfully punched him on the arm. "You know, it's always fun to have you drop by. Don't be a stranger," she said with a grin. They spent a little while longer chatting and reminiscing about old times, laughing over funny memories from their adventures. It was a reminder of the special friendship they'd shared since childhood. The air was freezing, so cold it felt like frostbite could set in at any moment. Why were they enduring this unbearable chill? Because they were on top of a mountain. Without any extra layers, barefoot and braving the elements, this was undoubtedly one of the most uncomfortable challenges they had faced. Most of the group had been through battles that left them battered and bruised, but this was different. Among them, Gohan stood out. He hadn't experienced as many battles, making him a bit of an exception to the seasoned group. "K Kakarot, why are we up on this mountain without proper clothes?" Raditz stammered, crossing his arms tightly to stay warm. His teeth chattered just like everyone else's, except for Goku, Piccolo, and Vegeta, who, for various reasons, seemed unfazed by the intense cold. Goku simply gave his usual grin, shrugging off the situation with his Saiyan companions. Their group, consisting of the remaining Saiyan fighters and Gohan, felt the sharp sting of the cold as they looked at Goku with mixed emotions. "Well, here's my idea," Goku began. "Since Saiyans get stronger each time we endure extreme conditions or recover from injuries, I thought we'd use this opportunity to push ourselves further. Over the next hour, I'll heal any injuries you get while sparring up here. But remember, my healing technique relies on your own stamina, so an hour should be plenty without exhausting everyone completely." "That doesn't explain why we're on this mountain," Vegeta muttered, his arms crossed as he stood firmly in place. Goku just smiled before offering a playful challenge, explaining further. "You see, since it's so cold, our bodies will face more stress in the extreme temperatures. And the colder your body becomes before healing, the greater the potential strength boost." Everyone nodded, silently acknowledging the strategy. Vegeta, however, kept his intense gaze fixed on Goku, determined not to let the cold, or the training, get the best of him. His pride remained strong, even under the biting cold. After a short pause, Goku released a small blue energy orb toward Vegeta, who managed to withstand the impact but found himself momentarily stunned, taking in the strength he had gained. "See? He's already a bit stronger than he was just a minute ago. Now, how about we get started?" Goku said with a confident smile. The others took a deep breath, bracing themselves for the challenging training ahead. They knew this would be no ordinary exercise. They were about to push their limits in the freezing air, hoping to emerge stronger than ever. Dark eyes opened abruptly as a figure sat up from his large bed. It seemed fitting for his stature, he thought. Surveying his pitch-black room, he sensed the icy chill filling the air, reminiscent of a mountaintop's freezing peak. After a quick glance around, he deduced that he must have left the window open overnight. With a low, sleepy grunt, the Saiyan slid out of bed, his movements confident despite his drowsy state. His bare feet pressed into the soft warmth of the carpet as he strode to the open window. Rubbing his eyes to ease the dryness, he reached for the window and closed it firmly. Slowly, the room's warmth returned, prompting a small smirk from him as he felt victorious over the cold. Gazing outside, he took in the still, star-filled sky before turning to his clock, which glowed with red numbers reading 3 o'clock in the morning. He scowled, annoyed at the early hour, before returning to bed. Only 3 hours remained before he had to get up for training. Training, an almost laughable term for what he endured. For him, it was more like torture. He was only 2 weeks into Goku's rigorous regime but knew it was a necessary path to grow stronger, at least, until he could take control of his own progress. Memories of the past 2 weeks surfaced, filling him with a mixture of frustration and determination. Weekdays were spent training intensely, with 2 days reserved for rest. But to him, rest was pointless, it only slowed their quest for power. If it were up to me, he thought, we would train every day without these meaningless breaks. We're Saiyans, not weaklings. The Saiyan Prince was steadfast in his views. Little did he know that Goku understood the importance of rest, allowing their muscles to recover, preparing them for even greater exertions. Still, he couldn't help but feel dissatisfaction at the company he kept during training. While he could tolerate the Saiyans and even, on a bad day, accept the Namekian and the half-Saiyan brat, the presence of Earthlings seemed absurd to him, mere dust beneath his boots. Why Goku insisted on involving them was beyond him. Absurd. I, the Prince of all Saiyans, receiving training from a low-class warrior? A clown? He mused with disdain. Yet, he had to admit the training wasn't entirely fruitless. Every day, they would endure grueling routines, moving from the mountains, where Goku would blast them to test their resilience, to a specially built gravity room on the island. Vegeta frowned, begrudgingly impressed by Goku's insights into Saiyan physiology. The use of the gravity room to push their limits was ingenious, something he hadn't considered before. Reluctantly, he acknowledged that he had grown stronger than ever, thanks, in part, to Goku. TCH, Kakarot. Such a soft-hearted fool, he thought, almost resentfully. If I had your power, this world would be destroyed 10 times over, yet you choose to protect it. Why? With these lingering thoughts, he finally drifted back to sleep, ready to face another day of training. Meanwhile, Goku had awakened early with a purpose. His thoughts drifted to Kami, the aging Namekian guardian of Earth. Despite his discomfort with the thought, Goku knew Kami's time was running short. Maybe I should offer to recreate the Dragon Balls, he thought, recalling his experiences with similar tasks in the past. As he dressed in his turquoise gi, securing his orange stockings and wristbands, he grinned, admiring his reflection briefly before preparing to visit the lookout. Glancing at his sleeping wife, Chi-Chi, and their friend Bulma, who had stayed over, he chuckled softly. He hoped the noise from last night hadn't disturbed Gohan's studies. With a final loving look, he used instant transmission to leave. Above the clouds, Kami, the wise Namekian guardian, stood watch over Earth. Though all seemed calm, he remained vigilant, especially since the arrival of the Scions. Feeling a shift in the air, Kami turned to see Goku's arrival and greeted him warmly, though with a knowing look. Goku, to what do I owe this early visit? Surely, you're not here just to check on an old fossil like me, Kami teased, aware that Goku's intentions were likely more serious. Actually, Kami, I have a request. I want to assume the role of Guardian of Earth and use my power to recreate the Dragon Balls. I want to protect this world, Goku replied, his voice steady. Kami's brow furrowed in surprise. Goku, normally this position requires training and, he was cut off by Goku's firm hand on his shoulder. Let me show you why this is important, Goku said, sharing his memories through a controlled release of ki. The flood of memories stunned Kami, revealing the hardships and trials Goku had endured. Struck by the depth of Goku's experiences, Kami finally understood. You may bear the title of Guardian, Kami conceded. But remember, the unity of Piccolo and me will be essential for the future. Persuade him to reunite with me when the time comes. Until then, I will inform Mr. Popo of these changes. With Kami's blessing, Goku set out to gather the Dragon Balls. Within minutes, he returned to the lookout with all 7, having scoured the planet with remarkable speed. Now, his task was to transfer his life energy into the Dragon Balls, amplifying their strength while maintaining their form. Using his advanced ki control, Goku performed the task with a precision that astonished Kami and Mr. Popo. Upon completion, the Dragon Balls glowed slightly larger, infused with Goku's power. He grinned, seeing the changes he had made, and thanked Kami. You won't regret this, Kami. I'll talk to Piccolo during training to convince him of our path forward. Thank you both, I'll see you soon. And with a final nod, he used instant transmission, vanishing as Kami looked on with pride. Goku had truly changed, a transformation not just of strength, but of purpose. Several hours later, everyone gathered in the training room, ready to prepare for the upcoming challenge with Frieza. With 3 months remaining until the Emperor of the Universe arrived on Earth, Goku was confident that they would be ready. At least the Scions, and maybe Piccolo if he reunited with Kami, would be prepared. The Earthlings, too, would be more than ready to face Frieza's army and the Ginyu Force. Goku looked at his team with a proud smile, seeing them all ready for the day's training. On such days, Goku would usually direct everyone to either train individually or find a sparring partner. He would also offer guidance on how to improve their techniques if needed, though he rarely had to give instructions. Everyone, except for young Gohan, was highly skilled, and Gohan, at his age, had a good reason for not being fully trained yet. However, Goku couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, was missing. His best friend Krillin hadn't been around for a month since Nappa and Vegeta arrived, and Goku couldn't sense his energy. It was troubling, but Goku knew that Krillin was one of the strongest fighters on Earth and had the ability to protect himself. He would honor Krillin's decision to go on his own journey and focus on preparing for what was ahead. Alright, everyone. We're going to do something a little different today. Instead of training alone, I want all of you to work together to challenge me. Goku announced, earning a variety of reactions: amusement, curiosity, and a bit of surprise. "Are you saying we all have to fight you?" Nappa asked, though Vegeta stayed quiet, observing the situation with a smirk. Goku turned to Nappa, smiling. "Yes, I'm a Super Saiyan, and as a former general, you should understand how powerful that makes me. But if you want to test your strength, I'll even put on some extra weights to make it more interesting." Nappa laughed, but Goku could tell that he was serious about wanting to face him. The battle began, with Nappa launching a series of attacks. However, Goku, in his usual playful way, dodged each one with ease, moving so swiftly that it was hard to follow. His movements were fluid, and everyone in the room could see just how much stronger he had become. Raditz looked at Vegeta and asked, "Don't you think Nappa should stop before he gets tired? We all know Kakarot is much faster than he is." Vegeta simply grunted, "Nappa can do what he wants. It's his decision." Piccolo, watching the fight with interest, turned to Gohan. "Your father has really improved. He's so fast now that even I can't keep up with him," he said, though Gohan was already deeply focused on his father's movements. "I don't know how he does it," Gohan replied, his eyes wide with admiration. "It's like he can see everything before it happens." Nappa kept trying to land a hit, but Goku continued to dodge effortlessly. At one point, Nappa paused, clearly frustrated. "Why is it so hard to hit you?" he asked, more out of confusion than anger. Goku gave him a friendly grin. "It's just practice. You've got to learn how to move like this if you want to keep up." The training continued, with Goku showcasing his speed and skill, and everyone, Earthlings and Saiyans alike, watching in awe. Even though the fight was not serious, everyone could see the difference in strength and ability. Just as Goku was about to wrap things up, the building suddenly began to shake. The ground trembled like an earthquake, but Goku quickly used his energy to create a protective barrier around everyone in the room. He focused, trying to figure out what was causing the disturbance. Stepping outside to investigate, Goku saw two cloaked figures standing nearby. One of them was holding Launch, but they didn't seem to want to hurt her, at least, not yet. They were speaking in riddles, and one of them told Goku to come with them, or they might harm Launch. Goku stood tall, unfazed. "I don't know who you are, but if you want to talk, we can do that. But threatening my friends won't help you get what you want. Let's work this out calmly." Launch, though in a difficult situation, shouted from where she was being held, "Don't worry, Goku. I'm fine." Goku smiled at her confidence. "You heard her," he said to the cloaked figures. "Let's figure this out without anyone getting hurt." The figures seemed taken aback by Goku's calm demeanor, but it wasn't long before they realized that they wouldn't get their way by threatening anyone. With Goku's peaceful but firm approach, the situation began to de-escalate. They didn't know what to expect from someone as strong, but also as kind, as Goku. "Now, how about we all sit down and talk?" Goku suggested, extending his hand. "We can figure out why you're here and find a solution that doesn't involve anyone getting hurt." The cloaked figures hesitated, then slowly let go of Launch, deciding that negotiation was the better route after all. Goku had once again demonstrated that strength wasn't just about fighting, it was also about staying calm, thinking things through, and protecting those he cared about. Before anyone could even comprehend the escalation of the situation, or before a single molecule could possibly connect to another, everything unfolded in an instant for the warriors capable of moving faster than light. In less than an attosecond, Goku had materialized between Launch and the sword-wielding opponent, delivering a powerful kick that sent the man flying while simultaneously disarming him. Goku then seized the sword, swiftly plunging it into the leg of his adversary's companion, just as he had promised. In that fleeting moment, no one would ever know, but Goku had unleashed 25% of his full power. This amount was more than sufficient to rival Whis' strength and to complete his mission, saving Launch while neutralizing one cloaked figure in a single exchange. Only a select few would ever grasp the extent of what had just transpired. "How about you surrender?" Goku remarked, folding his arms. "Or I can make you surrender. Either way, you won't win here today." He then heard the cloaked figure he had kicked, now soaring back toward his partner. The latter pulled the sword from his leg, grunting in pain. "You're an idiot," the man who had been kicked muttered as he retrieved his weapon. "We've seen enough. He's not even at full strength, and he's already holding his own against an angel. We're not ready for this." His partner nodded in agreement, and the two of them made a series of hand gestures before disappearing without giving Goku a chance to act. Meanwhile, everyone around them stood in stunned silence, their eyes fixed on the silver-eyed Saiyan. They had never witnessed such a display of power before, and it was deeply unsettling. Goku had been hiding so much of his true strength that it seemed almost unfathomable. Turning to his companions, he grinned, only to be met with stunned expressions. Goku's grin faltered as he wiped the sweat from his brow. "What? Are you guys okay?" Silence followed. The atmosphere fell into a heavy silence after Goku's latest remarkable achievement. Despite the magnitude of his accomplishment, one simple question lingered in the minds of all present. It was succinct, yet the answer to it was far more intricate and crucial. How? Raditz stammered, the word echoing the collective confusion. Goku, smiling serenely, turned to his brother. "It's simple. I trained," Goku replied, winking playfully. The response sent Vegeta into a frenzy. "Absurd," Vegeta snapped, stepping forward with disbelief. "You expect me to believe that your immense power came from mere training under gravity's pressure? This is blasphemy." Goku, unfazed, glanced down at Vegeta with a mixture of amusement and patience, as if humoring a child. "Well, Vegeta, I never said it was just that. But when I first started, it certainly helped. What I went through, none of you are ready for," he said, his tone calm yet confident. "I'm not claiming to be invincible, but this is the reality. To reach this level, you'll need more time, more dedication. If you follow my lead, I'll help you get stronger, but you must follow my instructions precisely." The others nodded in agreement, except for Vegeta and Nappa, who exchanged skeptical glances. Their doubts didn't faze Goku, who instead turned his attention to the unconscious launch. She had collapsed after a near-fatal encounter, the toll of the battle having drained her completely. Goku moved to carry her to her room, ensuring she would recover. "I'm going to take Launch to her room to rest," Goku announced. "Keep working on your ki control, push your limits with the gravity training. I'll be back soon." After carefully settling Launch into bed, Goku left the building, his senses honing in on an energy signature that felt eerily familiar. It couldn't have been a mere illusion. Trusting his instincts, he used instant transmission to follow the energy trail, his curiosity piqued by what, or who, awaited him. When Goku materialized before a slumped figure, his heart skipped. There, lying unconscious, was a version of himself, only this time, she was distinctly female. Her appearance was striking, the same spiky black hair, only longer, soft, feminine features, the familiar orange gi with a slight modification, orange shorts instead of pants, paired with black leggings. Her boots were identical to his, but they accentuated her shapely legs in a way he never expected to notice. Goku blinked, realizing that he was now staring at himself. As a woman. A surprising thought crossed his mind: she's not bad looking. He sighed, recalling a bet with Master Roshi that if Goku ever encountered a female version of himself who was attractive, he would owe the pervy old turtle hermit 10,000 zeni. "Great, now I owe him money," Goku muttered. "Should have never doubted that perv." After a brief moment of reflection, Goku decided to wake her gently by transferring his ki into her. It was more efficient than simply shaking her awake, and it would help heal any physical or emotional injuries she might have sustained. Her long, delicate lashes fluttered as her eyes slowly opened, and after a moment, she looked up into his silver eyes with a curious expression, rubbing her onyx-colored eyes as if to clear the fog of grogginess. "You have a thoughtful look in your eyes," she remarked with a soft giggle. "Are we thinking the same thing?" she asked, playful and flirtatious, though unaware of it. Goku, somewhat surprised by her directness, raised an eyebrow. Her innocence reminded him of a time when he too had been this carefree, seeing everything with the simplicity of a child. But her words left him speechless, so he simply watched her as she continued. "You want to fight me, don't you?" she continued, excitement filling her voice. "From the energy I can feel, you're really strong, this is going to be fun." Goku smirked. "You want to fight me, but you haven't even introduced yourself yet." The woman, sheepish, scratched the back of her head. "Right. I'm Gakine, Goki for short. What's your name?" Her bright eyes were filled with enthusiasm. "Maybe you'll find out after we fight," Goku responded, mimicking her stance, though he could sense that she was eager to get started. It reminded him of his own hunger for challenges when he was younger. The battle commenced swiftly, with Gakine charging in first. She was quick, but Goku dodged her attacks effortlessly, noting how strong she was for someone so young. She pushed herself to 100% power, attacking with a flurry of kicks and punches, but Goku easily overpowered her, catching her leg and throwing her to the ground. Gakine, though surprised, quickly recovered and tried to counter with a Kamehameha wave, but instead used it to propel herself forward, catching Goku off guard with her speed. Before she could fully gain control, Goku stopped her with a well-placed knee to her back, locking her in a hold. "Impressive," Goku commented, tightening his grip on her. She struggled briefly, then, seeing an opportunity, charged energy into her feet and launched a powerful counterattack, forcing them both to move at high speeds toward a nearby boulder. Goku, seeing the danger, disengaged just in time, but Gakine wasn't so lucky. After recovering from the crash, Gakine found herself covered in small, irritating ki blasts that stuck to her like glue, triggering a burst of electrical energy throughout her body. The pain was immense, and she screamed, feeling the searing shock waves coursing through her. Goku watched her with a measured gaze, keeping his distance while she writhed in pain. When the electric assault ceased, Gakine collapsed, but Goku caught her before she hit the ground. Despite the rough battle, he could sense she was still alive with an overwhelming desire to continue. As her wounds healed, Goku restored her torn clothing with a quick blast of energy. "Thanks." Gakine grinned, clearly grateful. "That really helped." "Glad to hear it," Goku replied, smiling. "I enjoyed the fight, though I was holding back quite a bit." Gakine's smile faltered slightly, but she quickly regained her composure. "Yeah, you're so strong. I didn't stand a chance." "Well," Goku said, "I've been fighting longer than you've been alive, so it's only fair. But I can see that you've got the potential to be strong too, stronger than me, maybe, one day." Her eyes widened with determination. "I'll train until I'm stronger than you, no matter how long it takes," she said with a cheeky wink. "Maybe you'll get there sooner than you think," Goku replied with a grin. As they flew off together, Gakine asked, "Wait, you know Master Roshi? You were his student too?" Goku chuckled. "You could say that," he said, keeping the truth of his identity to himself for now. He was curious to see how long it would take Gakine to figure it out. "It's been a long time since I trained with him," Goku explained. "These days, I mostly train on my own, refining my skills and learning from my mistakes." Gakine nodded and flew alongside him. "Since you're so powerful, how about training me?" she suggested eagerly. "We could spar, learn new techniques together. It sounds thrilling," she chuckled, her enthusiasm contagious. I had already planned to train her the moment I sensed her strength, Goku thought. I was going to offer, but she beat me to it. She's about the same strength I had when I first met Raditz, so she'll need to catch up before facing any real threats. Goku let out a quiet sigh as they continued their flight. His new life was filled with surprises. He glanced at Gakine, whose big, pleading eyes tugged at his heart. It was impossible not to smile at her, she was so endearing. "All right, I'll train you," Goku said, his voice firm. "But you'll need to follow my instructions, no questions asked. This won't be easy. If you think it will, you're mistaken. I'm sure you'd rather be wrong about that. Understood?" Gakine nodded enthusiastically, practically vibrating with excitement. "Sir, yes, sir." She saluted, and Goku couldn't help but smile at her eager obedience. "Good. Now let's speed up and catch up with the others," Goku said, and Gakine followed closely behind. A warm sensation spread through her chest, not from healing, but something else. Was it excitement? Or perhaps nerves? She wasn't sure, but she was determined to figure it out. Her focus shifted to her new teacher, and she smiled, feeling certain that training with him would be worthwhile. The two sped through the sky, blurs to even the most trained observer. As they flew, Goku knew that more challenges awaited, though he wasn't sure what exactly. Whatever came, he would face it head on, determined to protect those he cared about, no matter the cost. He chuckled, and the sound didn't go unnoticed by Gakine. "What's so funny?" she asked, her face innocent but filled with curiosity. "I was just thinking about all the ways I'm going to push you during our training," Goku teased, his grin widening. "I hope you're ready for it." Gakine smirked, unfazed. "I just hope it's not too easy. I'd hate to go through all this trouble for nothing." "Oh, is that so?" Goku replied, his tone more a challenge than a question as he flew closer to her. She stuck out her tongue playfully, and without warning, Goku scooped her out of the air and began tickling her. Gakine laughed uncontrollably, squirming to escape his grasp, but Goku grinned mischievously. The two of them continued to playfully spar through the skies, carefree and full of joy. If anyone had been listening closely, they would have heard the sound of pure laughter echoing in the air, a sound so beautiful and infectious, it was bound to make others smile. It had been 3 weeks since Gakine joined the group of trainees. Initially, her presence had taken everyone by surprise, but it wasn't long before they accepted her as part of the team. 3 weeks ago, Goku and Gakine had flown to the location of the Silver-Eyed Saiyan's base. As the island and its structures came into view, Gakine's eyes widened in amazement. "Wow! I didn't know you had so many buildings on the island," she exclaimed, clearly impressed. Goku shrugged casually. I built them myself. There's a living area, and right next to Master Roshi's house, there's a training facility, Goku explained, gesturing to the various structures. Gakeen nodded enthusiastically as they neared their destination. As the two descended, the rest of the group, who had been training, emerged from the facility to greet them. Hey, Goku. Whoa, who's that? Yamcha asked, pointing at Gakeen. Goku smiled at the question. This is Gakeen. She'll be training with us, Goku announced. Gakeen giggled at the introduction, her excitement palpable. Meanwhile, the others exchanged looks of curiosity and uncertainty. So, she's Gakeen, right? But who exactly is she, Goku? She looks like a female version of you, Yamcha said, voicing the thoughts of everyone. Goku gave a sheepish smile. She's my twin sister. Turns out, we were separated at birth. I don't think even Raditz knew about her, he explained. The group turned to Raditz, who looked stunned. Kakarot isn't wrong, Raditz admitted. When he was born, I was taken away from the hospital to train with my comrades. I never saw Kakarot's birth. But why would our parents keep her a secret? And what is her Saiyan name? Raditz's questions were met with silence, and surprisingly, Gakeen had an answer. Well, that explains the message I kept hearing from the ship when I arrived. Kakari, destroy all beings on the planet, she said, causing everyone to facepalm. Goku clapped his hands to regain their attention. Since Gakeen isn't as strong as everyone here yet, I'm going to personally train her until she's caught up. Once I think she's ready, I'll have her spar with one of you to see what she's capable of. So, train hard, everyone. You'll be in for a surprise, he declared. The group nodded in agreement, including Vegeta, who seemed especially eager. Goku couldn't help but notice Vegeta's change in posture. Typically, the Prince of all Saiyans would cross his arms and look away when discussing training, but today he stood tall, his eyes fixed on Gakeen. Goku knew who she was going to fight first. Present day, the entire group gathered in the training room, ready for the day's session. Goku and Gakeen entered, and Goku addressed the group. Good, everyone's here. I hope you've all been preparing, because if you haven't, Gakeen's going to mop the floor with you. Gakeen waved excitedly, her dark eyes sparkling with enthusiasm, adding to her already undeniable charm. If Krillin were here, he'd be falling for her faster than I am. Yamcha thought, watching Gakeen with admiration. She raised an eyebrow at his stare, bemused by his unusual behavior. Gakeen reflected on what Goku had told her about her past. He had explained that she came from an alternate universe where she was his female counterpart. Returning her to her universe was not an option due to the potential catastrophic consequences. She had quickly accepted her new life, knowing that fighting strong opponents and being around Goku would bring her fulfillment. She would pretend to be his sister, which wasn't difficult given their mental differences. Her backstory was simple. She had been abandoned by her biological family at 18, living alone in the woods before discovering her love for combat. She didn't dwell on the past, preferring instead to focus on honing her skills. Goku had sensed her familiar ki due to their twin bond and had welcomed her into his world. She would now help protect Earth from any threats, facing stronger foes along the way. Gakeen couldn't help but admire Goku's cleverness in handling her situation. He was brilliant, like Bulma. And though she was only slightly taller than Vegeta, her fighting style compensated for her lack of reach. Alright, I'm going to choose randomly to spar with Gakeen, based on your power levels. Everyone, raise your ki to the maximum, Goku instructed. As everyone powered up, the group's strength levels were ranked as follows. 1. Vegeta. 2. Raditz. 3. Nappa. 4. Gohan. 5. Piccolo. 6. Tien. 7. Yamcha. 8. Chaozu. Goku had anticipated Vegeta being the strongest, even 3 weeks ago. He was unsurprised when Vegeta was at the top of the list, followed closely by himself and perhaps Gakeen. They were likely evenly matched since Goku had personally trained her. Vegeta, step up to spar with Gakeen. Everyone else, stand by and watch, Goku instructed. Vegeta smirked, ready for the challenge. The rest of the group powered down. Gakeen and Vegeta exchanged determined glances. She grinned at Goku, who gave her a thumbs up, pleased to see her excitement. Vegeta remained stoic, powering up into his familiar battle stance. Another lower-class warrior, I see, Vegeta sneered. Another loser, it seems, Gakeen teased, winking at him. Vegeta's eyes widened in surprise as she dodged his first move. Goku sighed from the sidelines, even though the fight hadn't officially started. Gakine was fast, responding quickly to Vegeta's strikes. She took one punch to the cheek and immediately retaliated with a punch of her own. Vegeta, momentarily stunned, recovered and launched a quick strike to her abdomen, which she caught mid-air. He then aimed for her face, but she grabbed that punch too, both warriors testing each other's strength. But Vegeta had a trick up his sleeve. He let Gakine's momentum carry her forward before delivering a brutal headbutt that sent her crashing into the wall. She bounced off and launched herself back toward him with a powerful kick that sent Vegeta sprawling to the ground with a loud crash. Vegeta really took that hit, Yamcha remarked, impressed. Seems Gakine's adapting to Vegeta's style on the fly, Piccolo observed. Her power level has increased dramatically in such a short time. What kind of training has Goku put her through? I've put her through hell, Piccolo, Goku said, a smirk on his face. I can barely recognize her sometimes. As Goku glanced around the room, he noticed Nappa sweating nervously. His status as the weakest Saiyan had become apparent. But Goku quickly returned his focus to the battle unfolding before him. Vegeta, now furious, aimed a vicious axe-handle strike at Gakine's back, sending her crashing into the floor. As she lay there, panting, she saw Vegeta preparing to dive bomb her. The ceiling was high, and she knew that if he landed his attack, it would be painful. Thinking quickly, Gakine dodged, narrowly escaping the impact. Seizing the moment, she gathered energy for a Kamehameha wave, releasing the blast at the spot where she anticipated Vegeta would land. The impact created a massive crater, and Gakine wiped a bead of sweat from her brow. Just as she relaxed, she felt arms wrap around her waist from behind. Vegeta had caught her in mid-air. Nice try, but you'll need to do better. Vegeta grinned, his grip tightening as he began to descend. Gakine struggled, trying to shake him off, but his hold was firm. The ground was fast approaching, and she knew she needed to act quickly. It's time for the surprise, she thought. As Gakine and Vegeta neared the ground, a golden glow filled the room, blinding everyone who wasn't accustomed to its brightness. From within the light, Gakine emerged, her hair now shimmering gold. Vegeta, disoriented, crashed into the ground, barely registering the golden form above him before he fell unconscious. The others stood frozen in astonishment. How long has she? Yamcha muttered, eyes wide in shock. Only for a week, Goku responded with a confident smirk, drawing everyone's attention. The others were still grappling with the revelation that there were now two Super Saiyans, and both were related. She was incredibly determined to get stronger, so much so that even I was shocked. What started as a mere desire transformed into a genuine need. She needed strength so desperately that it pushed her into Super Saiyan form out of sheer frustration, Goku explained. The group nodded in understanding. So you're telling us that all it takes is anger and a strong desire to achieve something to become Super Saiyan? Raditz asked, not so much in question, but more in cautious disbelief. Goku chuckled in response. Well, if you want to simplify it that way, yes. But think about it, imagine being so furious, so overwhelmed with frustration, that it builds up like a volcano on the verge of eruption. Think about needing something so badly that it eclipses even the need to breathe. Only then will you achieve the Super Saiyan transformation, Goku clarified, earning nods from the other Saiyans, though Vegeta, still unconscious, remained silent. Speaking of Vegeta. You fool! A hoarse, enraged roar escaped Vegeta as Goku healed him and Gakine with a burst of blue ki energy. What just happened? I was going to defeat her, and she just turned Super Saiyan as if it were nothing, Vegeta bellowed, his voice making the others wince, especially Piccolo, who was visibly pained by the loud outburst. Just as Vegeta was about to grab Goku by his turquoise gi, Goku reversed their positions and seized Vegeta's wrist. Have you calmed down? Goku asked. Vegeta exhaled sharply, his anger subsiding slightly. Goku applied more pressure to his wrist. I said. Have you calmed down? Goku repeated firmly. Vegeta nodded, and Goku released him, causing the Saiyan Prince to stumble back a few steps. Now, did you really think I would have her face the strongest fighter without preparing her for it? Knowing you, your moves would have been lethal, even for a sparring session. It was her own determination to grow stronger that triggered the Super Saiyan transformation. You can become one too, but you'll need to earn it. There's no birthright here, no matter how prestigious your bloodline. It's all about hard work when I'm the one teaching. Do I make myself clear? Goku asked, his glare intense enough to make Vegeta feel the weight of his words. Vegeta could only nod in agreement. Goku turned to Gakine, who was still radiating excitement from her earlier performance. And you, little firecracker, you did great out there today, Goku complimented with a soft smile, which made Gakuen beam with pride and blush. Then, Goku addressed the rest of the group. Alright, everyone, today we're doing something different. We're going to fight as a team, but with high gravity and the combat bots I designed. They'll target everyone as we fight. And since I designed them, you can bet they're going to be tough, Goku said, receiving uneasy glances from the humans, Gohan, and a sweating Piccolo, while the Scions glared, except for Raditz, who was wide-eyed in surprise. Gakuen, however, appeared energized by the challenge, eagerly bouncing on her feet. Goku noticed her enthusiasm and couldn't help but admire her. She had adopted his training style with a few personal touches. While Goku typically wore no undershirt, Gakuen did, and though Goku wore black fighting shoes, she kept her blue boots. Otherwise, their outfits were nearly identical. Alright, now that we've got that squared away, I'll start in the center of the room. Everyone will form a circle around me, I'll increase the gravity, and activate the training bots, Goku instructed. The group positioned themselves accordingly, ready for the challenge. Gohan raised his hand, and Goku, grinning, pointed at him. Yes, Gohan? Why are we training like this, Daddy? We usually spar one person at a time. Gohan's question made everyone pause to consider the implications of such a different training method. Exactly. When Frieza arrives, he won't be alone. He'll bring his entire army, and possibly his family if he's desperate enough, Goku explained. The reasoning was sound, and the group accepted it. Okay, everyone ready? This is going to be tough, Goku warned, his voice ringing out. He clapped his hands, and instantly the room became heavy with increased gravity. The air grew thick, and combat bots materialized around them. The group immediately sprang into action. Unknown location. Naruto. Sasuke. Dobi. Emo. Idiot. Moron. Furry. What? You're telling me you're not? No, you dumb furry. Just because I have whisker marks doesn't make me a furry. And just because I'm not stupid doesn't mean I'm a wrist slasher. Let's be real here, you're a wrist slasher. I am not. Then explain the sword. It kills people easier. Your dead personality kills more people than that sword. What's it called again? Kusanagi no Tsurugi. Why do you need to gather clouds? For the same reason you gather furry fantasies in your basement. It's not my fault that cat lady came onto me. And it's not my fault I'm charming and good looking. If I were truly your friend, I'd stop letting you lie to yourself. Shut up, team. The banter died down as the silence stretched between them. The wind howled, the sky thundered, and the sun sank into the horizon. The cold air shifted around them, but neither seemed bothered by it. Naruto. Sasuke's voice was different now, softer, more contemplative. Naruto, sensing the change, glanced over at his lifelong friend before looking up at the stars, realizing how time was passing them by. What are we going to do? Sasuke's tone was uncharacteristically filled with doubt, a far cry from the confidence Naruto had always known. We do what we have to do. We can't turn back now. No matter how tempting it may seem, Naruto replied. Sasuke hesitated, clearly torn. You're really going through with this? Goku has the power of an angel at his fingertips. If we continue after him, we'll end up dead. Sasuke's concern was palpable. So what? Just because he's powerful doesn't mean he's invincible. We have to face him because it's our job. People saw that flyer, and they're counting on us to finish this. We're the only ones who can, Naruto stated firmly. Damn it. You're right. Of course I am. Why doubt us, Sasuke? That's not the Sasuke I know. Sasuke exhaled slowly, running a hand through his hair. I guess I miss Sakura. Being away from her has made me realize what I have to lose. Naruto chuckled, but Sasuke raised an eyebrow at his friend's expression. Sakura would be in stitches if she ever heard you say that. I miss my girls too, you know. Hinata, Ino, Tenten. They're all so beautiful. Yeah, you've got your own little harem, Sasuke teased. It's not a harem. Naruto shot back, flustered. Sounds like one to me, Sasuke smirked. You're the idiot. You'd know. Shut up, team. We're not going to die. We're better than that. Naruto's voice was full of conviction. Then death? Sasuke whispered. Not death, just avoiding it, Naruto corrected. That's not very helpful when you're dealing with an angel-level fighter. We know that Scions can transform, and Goku's power is beyond what we can handle right now. Then we'll get stronger. We've been slacking in our training anyways, Naruto laughed, making Sasuke's eyes widen in disbelief. You think we can become that strong? Scions are the pinnacle of fighting, able to improve with every battle. They've got multiple transformations, and you think we can catch up to that? Naruto smiled gently. Well, the Grand Priest isn't a Saiyan, but he's the most powerful fighter in the multiverse. Goku's second to him. Time travel's frowned upon, but we're not trying to change time, we're trying to protect it. That's where we come in. That's all for today, everyone. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more exciting updates. Thank you so much for your support. Best regards. Cactus.